The Galactic Nutrition Council had studied over 14,000 sentient species across 42 galaxies, but nothing had prepared them for humanity. Dr. Vec, a renowned Quilarian nutritionist with 3 doctoral degrees and centuries of experience, stood before the observation window of the research station orbiting Earth. His 6 eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of profound confusion among his people. Beside him, his colleague Dr. Maranto from the herbivorous Centauri Collective nervously adjusted her translation collar. "This cannot be correct," Vexter muttered, his tentacles gesturing at the holographic display. "Run the analysis again." The data streamed across the screen, unchanged. The 2 scientists had been observing human subjects, Aria Chen and Leo Martinez, for 3 standard weeks now, documenting every meal, every bite, every dietary choice. What they discovered defied everything they knew about civilized species. A 28-year-old biochemist from Earth sat in the station's designated human habitat, casually eating what she called breakfast. Vexter watched in horrified fascination as she consumed the flesh of at least 3 different creatures, along with the embryonic cells of avian species, fermented bovine secretions, and processed grain matter all in a single meal. "She's eating like a Corthax predator," Maranta whispered, referencing one of the most feared carnivorous species in the known universe. "But she's so small, and she has a research degree in molecular sciences." Leo entered the habitat, carrying what humans called coffee, a stimulant beverage that would be classified as a controlled substance on 17 different worlds. He kissed Arya on the cheek and sat down with his own meal, a sandwich containing the muscle tissue of fish, covered in plant matter and more fermented dairy products. "Good morning, beautiful," Leo said with a smile. "Ready for today's tests?" "Born ready," Arya replied, taking another bite of her multi-species breakfast. "I hope they're not too freaked out by our eating habits." If only she knew Vexter had spent the previous night reviewing historical data on human evolution. What he discovered sent chills through his exoskeleton. Humans weren't just omnivores, they were persistent hunters. Apex predators who evolved by literally chasing their prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. Their eyes faced forward like hunters, not to the sides like prey. They had specialized teeth for tearing flesh. Their digestive systems could process an absurd variety of organic matter, including toxins that would kill most species. "Look at this." Vexter pulled up Earth's food chain on the display. "Humans sit at the very top. They have no natural predators, none. But they're not even the strongest species on their planet," Maranto protested. "There are larger carnivores whom they hunt for sport," Vexter interrupted, "or keep as domesticated companions. They literally befriended smaller versions of apex predators and brought them into their homes." The morning testing session began. Arya and Leo entered the laboratory section, where various alien cuisines had been prepared. The experiment was simple: offer humans food from different galactic cultures and observe their reactions. First up was Quilarian Nutrition Pasta, perfectly balanced meal containing all necessary vitamins, minerals, and proteins derived from synthesized plant matter. Arya and Leo each took a polite taste. "It's very smooth," Leo said diplomatically. "Nutritious, I'm sure," Arya added, setting down her spoon. Vexter noted their lack of enthusiasm. Strike one. Next came Centauri leaf clusters, a delicacy among herbivorous species. Arya examined the bioluminescent foliage with scientific interest. "Beautiful," she commented. "The photosynthetic adaptation is remarkable." She took a small bite and chewed thoughtfully. "A bit bland though. Could use some salt, or maybe some grilled protein," Marantu gasped. "She wants to add flesh to our sacred ceremonial greens." The testing continued with increasing concern from the alien scientists. Humans, they discovered, didn't just eat for sustenance. They ate for pleasure. They combined flavors in ways that seemed chaotic yet somehow worked. They consumed foods that were actively trying to cause them pain, peppers containing capsaicin that triggered pain receptors. Yet humans sought out even stronger varieties. "This is insane," Vexter muttered as Leo casually ate what humans called hot wings, flesh coated in a sauce so spicy that it would hospitalize most species. "He's sweating. His body is clearly in distress. Why doesn't he stop?" "Because it tastes good," Leo said, apparently having overheard through the communication system. He grinned and reached for another wing. The breakthrough came during the final test. The scientists presented a raw steak and processed muscle tissue from an earth bovine. Most civilized species would recoil at the sight of uncooked meat. Arya's eyes lit up. "Oh, is this for the thermal preparation test? You're not disturbed by it?" Maranto asked, disturbed. "It's beautiful marbling." "Leo, look at this grade of beef." Leo nodded. Prime cut. Should we show them proper preparation? What followed was a masterclass in human culinary culture. Leo demonstrated seasoning techniques while Arya explained the Maillard reaction, a chemical process that occurred when proteins and sugars in meat were exposed to high heat. They cooked the steak to what they called meat, leaving the center pink and warm. Vex Tar watched in a mixture of horror and fascination as both humans cut into the partially cooked flesh and consumed it with evident satisfaction. In our evolutionary history, Arya explained between bites, noticing the scientists' reactions, cooking meat was actually a turning point. It allowed us to extract more nutrients and energy, which supported our developing brains. But we never lost the ability to eat raw meat if necessary. We're adaptable. Adaptable, Vexter repeated. That's an understatement. Over the following days, the alien scientists compiled their findings. Humans could eat plants, meat, fungi, and foods from nearly any environment on their planet. They had colonized every climate zone, from frozen tundras to scorching deserts, adapting their diets accordingly. They could survive on emergency rations that would demoralize other species, or create elaborate multi-course meals for pure enjoyment. But most remarkably, they had taken their predatory nature and channeled it into cuisine. They didn't just kill and eat, they had elevated consumption into an art form, with thousands of cultures, each developing unique culinary traditions. The final report to the Galactic Nutrition Council was unprecedented. Humans are apex predators who have achieved spacefaring civilization without abandoning their evolutionary advantages. They eat like hunters because they are hunters. They simply chose to hunt knowledge, exploration, and innovation instead of prey. Their dietary flexibility is not a quirk but a fundamental survival trait. They can and will eat almost anything, and somehow, they've made it work. Dr. Maranto added her own note. Recommendation: if humans offer to cook for you, accept. Despite everything, their food is actually quite delicious. As the report transmitted across the galaxy, Arya and Leo shared a meal in their habitat, a disk of bread covered in tomato sauce, cheese, and various toppings. Think they'll approve us for the galactic community? Leo asked. Arya grinned, taking a bite of pepperoni and jalapeno. Once they taste our cooking, absolutely. In the observation deck, Vexter watched them and realized something profound. Humans hadn't become civilized despite being predators. They had become civilized because they were predators, adaptable, innovative, and always hungry for more.